This program is brought to you by Fast Signs of Durango. More than fast, more than signs. Fast Signs.
Earlier this year, the La Plata County Commissioners and the Durango City Council agreed to ask voters for a property tax increase to build a new airport terminal. Their decision came after 3 years of study and dozens of community meetings. Roger Zalneritis with the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance interviews interim airport director Tony Vicari about the problems that are arising as airline service outgrows the existing airport terminal.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Roger Zalneritis. I'm the director of the Economic Development Alliance, and we're here today in Durango, La Plata County Airport, out in the lovely countryside with Tony Vicari, the interim director here at the airport. How are you doing today, Tony?
Doing great, Roger. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. So the reason we're out here is because we've got this big discussion going on about an air terminal and a new air terminal here at the airport. I thought it'd be good to come out and get your perspective as the director done so that we can understand more about why we're having this discussion today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I think a lot of people don't have a full understanding of what happens at the airport.
What are the operations like out here? Because one time a real estate agent told me, aren't there just 2 or 3 flights a day at the airport?
No, I think there's a lot of confusion sometimes about that. People almost are stuck in a little bit of a historical context. They refer back to 20 or 30 years ago, when indeed today we actually have 13 to 14 arrivals and departures a day, split between 2 major legacy air carriers. Last year in 2015, we served over 375,000 total passengers.
That's fantastic. That's great news. But, I mean, isn't the terminal right now adequate for our passengers? I mean, half the time you come out here, 10 in the morning, it's pretty empty.
An airport terminal is much, in some ways, very much like a highway system, where if you were to drive down a major interstate, if you happen to catch it at gridlock in peak rush hour, you're going to have some problems. Also, if you cruise down there at an off period in the middle of the day, you could be in the middle of downtown Denver, and it's just not busy.
Right.
So an air terminal is actually built and constructed in much the same way. We have to be able to accommodate those peak traffic levels. And what happens when we get in those periods is you get conflicting operations. We are an undersized facility. We do not have enough apron space to accommodate aircraft. We have 4 parking space for aircraft, and those are currently filled at portions of the day. We run into elbow room from the passenger standpoint.
So, I mean, you've described a 37,000 square foot terminal, lots of problems for passengers, operations, airlines. What do we do?
Great question. So in 2014, the airport undertook an airport master plan study.
Okay.
This is a study that the FAA asks every airport to do, whether they're looking at projects or not. A variety of alternatives were really put on the table and looked at of what could we do to solve this problem.
Maybe you can show it on the
Yeah,
map here.
absolutely. So if you reference right here, you can see our existing facility.
Okay.
That was alternative 1, to rehab this site right here. Alternative 2 was to construct a new facility immediately to the north of that facility, where you could use the existing one, build a new one, and then switch over.
Okay.
And then alternative 3, as you can see depicted on this map here, was to actually build a new terminal site on the east side of the airfield, which is currently undeveloped but airport-owned land.
Why did they choose this one and not one of those other 2?
The issue really was this footprint, where alternatives 1 and 2 are located, has long-term space constraints. If you invest significant monies in this current footprint, now you end up 20 years down the road, the growth has come to fruition.
You have to move over here anyway.
Exactly.
Got it.
So you fear that you might have a sunk investment. One of the big takeaways is that over here, what you can do is go ahead to a fresh site, build, not interrupt your existing operations while you build, and ultimately end up with a site that can accommodate phased growth throughout time at a reasonable pace as needed.
Well, Tony, this has been really enlightening. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you could come out to the airport, and I would encourage anyone who wants to learn more about the airport, go to the website, which is flydurango.com. There's a sign up on there. You can come see behind the scenes at the airport, whether you're interested because of the current talk about the airport on a political level, or if you're interested just to see the airport and learn more about what's happening in your communities.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tony. And again, this is Roger with the Economic Development Alliance. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 259-1700. Have a great day.